Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. MC-Mura here, and in today's video we are gonna continue talking about Balrog and how you can fight him. In the last video I talked about V-Skill 1, I talked about his V-Trigger 1, the V-Trigger activations, and some general tips on the neutral versus Balrog. So today we are gonna continue with that, and I'm gonna start with Balrog pressure and his throw game in particular, because there is some tricks here that Balrog can employ with his throws that you need to be aware of. The first thing about Balrog is his forward throw. There is a very known setup that many Balrog players use, I would say on all level of gameplay, and that they will throw you forward and then do a dash low. This is a very tricky setup because this is a meaty. If I try to wake up, like say I try to jump on wake up, I'm holding up, I get hit. If I try to 3-frame, I get counter hit, right? So this is a true meaty. This also have layers to it because the dash low is -7, but it put him at a distance. And as you just seen, if I try to take back my turn, my medium will whiff and then Balrog will punish me. So this is like an auto-spaced, an auto-spaced footsie trap. He is using a meaty that will meet me if I try to jump or attack, while also being safe-ish because -7 from a distance. And if I try to take back my turn, he can whiff punish me. So what can you do here? Well, there are a couple of things. First of all, the dash low itself, like we said, is -5. So if you have a really fast attack, like Sis's super, you can get a punish here, right? Obviously, not every character has this, but I think there is a decent amount of characters who have an option like that. So you consider using them if you have it, right? It's a free punish. The second option that you can do is to use a long range or like your heavy kick poke type normal. So for example, for someone like Sis, after blocking it, I am +7, I can go for an attack like my crouching heavy kick. This is a pretty nice attack. Here Balrog will be forced to block and he will not be able to whiff punish me, right? Of course, again, it's gonna depend on your character and the range, but these are typically good options. The final option is of course just blocking and whiff punishing him yourself, because what's gonna happen here is that the Balrog will most likely try to whiff punish you preemptively. So what you can do is wait and get the whiff punish yourself, right? These, I will say, are the general options that you will need to know when you are dealing with this particular strategy. Of course, if you know that it's coming, you can just wake up DB. I failed it this time. Or wake up super or whatever, right? Like you can wake up super, wake up DV, whatever you can. You can wake up with invincibility. The second option is of course the throw into dash up throw. Balrog doesn't get a throw into dash throw mid screen because as you see there is a big enough separation. So mid screen he can throw you forward and then throw again. He can do that with his back throw. The back throw does put him in this situation, but if you noticed, it is pretty negative on the dash. When he dashes forward, he is -7. So when Balrog throws you backward and then dashes again, he is -7 on this dash. So then you can get a big punish on him, right? The throw into dash throw becomes much harder to deal with when you are in the corner. So if we put ourselves in the corner, now this becomes an issue because he's only -1 after the dash. Of course, this means that if you can react, you can 3-frame him here. If your character have a 4-frame, you can also do that, but Balrog have a 3-frame. So it is a hard situation. He kinda have a -1 dash into -1 throw like this. He doesn't have it mid-screen like this, but in the corner it is very dangerous. This is a hard situation to deal with. Of course, it is very hard to get corner trapped by Balrog. It's one of the worst situations in the game. What I would try to do personally is just wait and try to react to the dash. I know it is really hard. His dash is really hard to react to. But you have to because of this. He can walk up and then do something like his standing heavy kick. And if I try to jab here, I might get crush countered and I would lose a ton of damage. So I would actually recommend just trying to wait for the dash or blocking it out. if he's in the corner and he's putting you point blank, knows that he can throw you in the corner, so it might be not an awful idea to try to wake up with a backdash maybe, or try to maybe challenge here, maybe backdash or challenge. And that's pretty much the most situations that you're gonna see for Balrog and his throw. He does have a good throw game, especially in the corner. It is very scary. Mid-screen, it's kinda scripted. It's kind of an automatic setup that Balrog will go for 99% of the time. And if you are ready for it, you can absolutely deal with it. Let's now move on for a bit and talk about Balrog's general pressure, right? When he is up close and in your face, Balrog have very strong frame traps. He has so many frame traps and so many variants on what he can do that I don't think it is kind of feasible for me to describe them one by one. But I'm gonna talk about the general flow of what you can do and the general weakness of them. When he's up close in your face, he have normals like this crouching medium punch, and this is fantastic. This, as you can see, this is +2 on block, and it leaves him in throw range, so even if I try to mash my 3 frame here, I'm gonna get thrown. Of course, he have his heavy kick pressure, when he can move and do his heavy kick. And this is a crush counter that is +3 on block, so it's really risky to try to challenge here. But here's the thing about Balrog. He doesn't have a cancelable low. This is huge when you're fighting versus him. Because he doesn't have a cancelable low, walking back and blocking is actually really nice against him. So for example, even against this crouching medium punch, if I walk back, even in micro walk, I'm actually able to get out of his throw range, as you can see. Then maybe you can get a punish. And this goes for a lot of his block strings in general. He doesn't have a cancelable low. He can't catch you low without having to commit to either a dash low or a sweep, both of which are really unsafe. So walking back and blocking low is very strong versus Balrog. This is one of his main weaknesses. Now let's talk about the standing heavy kick pressures that I was talking about. Again, walking back and blocking low is very strong versus this. But as you can see, he might dash. And this is the secret. Against the standing heavy kick pressure, Balrog is gonna dash. Balrog doesn't have a way of getting back in. He doesn't have a way to extend his block strings. For example, when you're fighting against Laura, she can do EX Thunderclap and then regain her turn or close the distance again. Rashid can do his tornadoes and all of that, but Balrog does not have something like that. So you walk back and block and try to react to the dash. This is honestly your main goal when you're fighting against Balrog. So I'm gonna try to walk back and block, I see the dash, and then I'm gonna interrupt. This is basically how you do it. This is how you try to, defend against Balrog. This is the best way I think that is possible. There are two other main important things that I want to tell you about Balrog, and this have to do when you get hit and about his Oki. There are a couple of common knockdowns that might happen, and the first one is out of his target combo, his jab target combos. When he does this, Balrog will dash forward and he's gonna be +8, but as you can see, he's out of throw range, so again, walking back and blocking is important, right? Because then you can get a punish on him if he does this, right? And of course, if you happen to block the target combo by itself, it is massively unsafe. There is another way that Balrog can go for Oki, and that is using his dash punch cancel with the V-skill 1. So he's gonna do something like this, right? And he might then get a throw on you. Out of this knockdown, if he does the dash punch into V-skill, he is actually -2, so you do get a punish. So whenever Balrog tries to hit you with his target combo, you have to pay close attention to what type of Oki he's going for. If he's dashes, just walk back and block, and if he does the spin or the dash punch cancel into V-skill, this is unsafe. This is -2. So you wake up and you take your turn. So after the target combo, if he goes for the dash punch into V skill, you wake up with normals. If he does a normal dash, you walk up and block, right? Or walk back and block. And actually the dash punch into V skill is a huge part. It's a gigantic part of Balrog's Oki. And what you have to understand is that Balrog is making a guess. So let me show you something. Balrog is now gonna do a combo into EX dash straight, right? He's gonna do a medium punch. Notice his input. If you notice the inputs on the left, Balrog did a medium punch. I don't know why he took away his inputs. But let's look at it again. He is doing a medium punch, dash punch, and then throwing me, right? And this was a +2 situation on a quick rise. What happens if I back rise? He's gonna be outside of throw range. So if he does medium punch, cancel into V skill to get the Oki, he will be in throw range on quick rise, but he will be outside of throw range on back rise. So can he counter this? Yeah, sure. He can do the same sequence, but cancel from a heavy punch dash punch. Now he cancelled from a heavy punch dash punch, as you can see. But what happens if I quick rise? Now if I quick rise in my place, he is -3, so you do get to punish him. And that is what I'm trying to get at. Balrog have to guess on your wake up. He have to cancel either from a medium or a heavy dash punch, cancel into the V skill 1 to get his Oki. And if you can manipulate your wake up between quick and back rise, you can actually throw him off, either make his wake up meaty throw whiff, or make him negative if you happen to quick rise and he did a heavy punch dash punch. Let's now switch gears and talk about his V skill 2. Of course, in Champion Edition, it is the last season of Street Fighter V, Capcom added a second V skill for each character, and Balrog V skill 2 completely transforms the character, because it moves him from a character who has to rely on mix-ups and strong Oki to a character that really is very dominant in the neutral. Balrog V skill 1 V skill 2, he will do this wave thing, and this is like a wind-up. It's a fixed animation that he have to do, and after that it powers up his next or the upcoming dash punch. As you can see, his regular dash punch went from -4 into +2. It now puts you in a juggle state if it hits, so he gets to do follow-ups after that. So it does seem very, very good. However, you have to also consider what Balrog is sacrificing for this V skill. What he is giving up is Oki. So for example, in a situation like the one you're gonna see now, he's gonna do a basic combo into EX dash punch. And now Balrog doesn't get Oki. He can get to charge another V skill which will power up the neutral, but he doesn't get Oki. If Balrog try to do this combo and then try to go for a throw on my wake up, I can simply wake up and counter hit him. So while it is really, really strong, you have to consider that Balrog is significantly weaker in terms of offense, but the neutral is a lot stronger. Now let's check out another sequence. He might do something like this into the EX dash punch, a couple of EX dash punches. Of course the damage is very strong and he gets to charge again. So this V skill makes Balrog, honestly, he becomes simpler to deal with. You don't have to know as much about him as you have to with V skill 1. V skill 1 is a lot stronger if you don't know the matchup. V skill 2 is a lot more solid. This simply makes the neutral versus Balrog very, very hard, because now there is no tell about when the dash punch is coming. If a dash punch happens to hit, it's gonna be very dangerous. A simple EX dash punch like that can lead to 300 damage. So it changes the character quite dramatically, I will say. My advice against this is to try to maintain a little bit of close distance versus Balrog so that he doesn't get to charge. For example, if I'm in the neutral and I'm seeing him charging like that, I can simply just hit him out of it. And as you can see, he have to complete the animation to get the charge. Notice the glowing icon on the bottom right, but if I interrupt him midway, he doesn't get the charge. So the way that you fight against this B skill is to try to maintain a closer game against Balrog so that he doesn't get to charge it. And if he does, you just have to be a little bit more careful because the neutral will be a little bit harder. So now let us briefly talk about Balrog's V-Trigger 2. And Balrog's V-Trigger 2 is a very good V-Trigger in my opinion, and it was buffed by quite a bit this season. I think it's even better than his V-Trigger 1, and that's just my opinion. This V-Trigger gives Balrog a new move, and it is a command grab. This command grab does 180 damage, so as you saw above, it does 180 damage, but it does 350 stun. 350 stun is a fantastic amount of stun. And it does have actually really good range, and he can take into it from many things. So as you saw, he can do crouching medium punch and then command grab you. He can do standing medium kick and then command grab you. Of course, he can do it out of jabs. He can do it after dash punches during resets. There are many things that he can take into this grab from. But here is the thing. This command grab is slow. It is 7 frames startup. So it means that this is not a real tech throw. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is if Balrog say does crouching medium into command grab, here you can actually jab him out of it. So as you can see, my crouching jab was a counter hit. So if he does the same thing again, I can just hit him as a counter hit. This will go also for his standing medium kick. And it is just a general thing. Because it is 7 frame startup, for him to throw you out of your normal, he have to be at least +4, and Balrog doesn't have a normal that is +4, right? So this command grab will require some conditioning to apply. But it is very dangerous because Balrog have excellent frame traps, so he can convince you to stop pressing buttons, right? And that's what makes it really scary. Now, let's then talk about another aspect of it that is really scary, and that is the fact that he can combo into it. For example, if he's doing something like jab, right? I might think he will try to combo into the command grab, so I will walk backwards and the low target combo will hit me. So if I try to walk back here, the target combo will hit me and then he will combo into the throw. And when he combos into it, it still does the 350 stun. So this tiny combo did 450 stun. Crouching medium kicks into the command grab did almost half of my stun bar, which is really high. So even trying to walk back out of his pressure is very risky. Now, there is also one other thing to consider, and that is the Oki on the command grab. The Oki on the command grab is also dangerous. Balrog is +12, so he doesn't get to dash up again. If he dashes up again, you can actually just jab him out of it, and this will straight up punish him. So let's repeat it again. You can just wake up and get a punish on him here. But this is risky, because if you are waiting for the dash, he can then simply walk up and throw you after. So there is a lot of risks to this. Overall, I think this V-Trigger is really strong. There isn't any way that I can tell you that you can do to completely avoid this command grab, because he can land it so easily from so many things. This is something that is gonna be by feel. You have to know that maybe it is coming now, so I'll try to jump, or maybe I'll try to interrupt with buttons. It is a very read-based V-Trigger. It's not like the other V-Trigger one where you can react to this, you can react to that. This one you kinda have to guess about when he's gonna do it, and that's what makes it really dangerous. So not much room for counterplay here, except don't let him get into the range where he could command grab you in the first place. And now I wanted to briefly talk about Balrog's super or his critical art, and it is a bionic arm or a dash punch variant. This one is done by quarter circle forward, 2 quarter circle forwards, so it is not a charge attack. It is not a charge move, it's just a regular command attack. And the important thing to know about this is that he does get a setup after this. After his critical art, Balrog will be right next to you, so he does get to meet you on wake up. right? He does get guaranteed pressure, whether it hit from full screen, so if he landed even platform screen like that, or whatever he did it point blank, regardless of how it hits, Balrog does get pressure, right? So it is important to block after it. This isn't one of these supers who resets the neutral. He does get guaranteed pressure. So that is important to know. And of course, because it's a command, it's a command super, it can be risky to throw fireballs at him while you have it. Speak, for example, if a situation like that happens, he can just super you on reaction. If Rashid just threw a regular fireball, he can super it on reaction, and you know how it goes. In general, it's a really good super. You will not have to deal with it often, I will say, because Balrog have excellent EXs, especially the EX Dash Punch. This attack is phenomenal. So Balrog players doesn't get to have supers that much, but the important thing to know is, again, if you got hit by it, he does get a setup. He does get a meaty situation. And that is pretty much it for today's video. I know I've went really in depth with Balrog, but he's one of these characters who I feel like you have to know a ton about the matchup to survive it. He honestly is one of these characters. Anyways, if you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment. It helps the channel so much. Thank you very much for watching and stay safe.